Hello, space nerds. It is August 5th, 2026, and I got a little update for you. There's lots of things been happening. As you can see from this graph, we've had a lot of activity in the last month or so, almost all of it in the renderer. The first update I want to mention, I don't really have anything to show you, but a user on GitHub called Kuroneko, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, has sent me a bunch of patches to add support for OpenGL ES, which ES stands for Embedded Systems. So if you're building this for like a Raspberry Pi, you might want to use that. And the way that you use it, you type make and then you add on all caps, use underscore GLES equals 1, and then it will build for OpenGL ES. The second thing that we have going, we have cascaded shadow maps. So now we have shadows in the game. Now, it's a little strange because cascaded shadow maps use directional lighting. So we pretty much take the direction of the light. I hope I get this right. The light to roughly the center of the shadow cascades and use that as the direction for the light. And it's generally kind of close to the camera or from the sun to the cascades. And then use that, which means that things very far away on the opposite side of the sun would have the wrong shadows, but we only shadow to a certain distance, so it mostly works. And as you can see on this star base here spinning around, it shadows itself. The ships cast shadows onto the star bases. We don't cast shadows onto the planets deliberately because, well, several different reasons. The first reason is, well, the planets are very big, and so if you were standing on the planet, in order to be in shadow, you would have the ship that was casting the shadow would have to block out the sun. But the ship is very tiny and very far away, and the sun is very big, so the ship literally can't block out the shadow. So there's no point in casting shadows onto planets. It wouldn't look right anyway, which brings me to the second point. It would, if we did cast shadows onto the planets, it would sort of destroy the illusion of scale, because our planets aren't really big enough anyway. They're not realistically big, but they kind of look okay. But if we cast shadows, it would become immediately apparent that the planets are nowhere near as big as they ought to be. So that's another reason not to do it. And the third reason is performance, because the planets quite often fill up a huge portion of the screen, and querying the depth maps from the shadow, it's not the cheapest thing, and if you are doing it for almost all the pixels on the screen, we start struggling to meet the frame rate. So it's just better if we don't cast shadows onto planets. But we do cast shadows onto asteroids. Ships cast shadows onto themselves, onto other ships, onto star bases, and so on and so forth. So it makes the game look a lot better, in my opinion. Now I will say, this is interesting because I got this code from my friend Daniel, and he got it by using Claude Code. Now that's pretty interesting that Claude Code was able to add cascading shadow maps to this renderer, and it didn't do anything weird. It like used all the stuff in my renderer, like all my weird little functions. It just integrated the code in pretty nice. It's actually quite impressive. Now, I did previously have a policy of no AI code in the code base, but, that was probably just me overreacting and kind of like, well, there's these sort of questions about AI code, copyright aspects. If I just ban it, then I don't have to worry about any of that, but that's kind of an overaction. When I saw the shadow mapping code and how it was integrated into my renderer, it was quite clear that it was not like blatantly plagiarized because it was well integrated into my code. So it couldn't have been copied to any large extent from anywhere. And if you know how, it's very interesting. Anyway, enough of that. So that brings me to the next big additions, which is we finally have some proper black hole shaders. So we've got some gravitational lensing. We have a black hole shader, and we have modifications to the skybox shader to distort the skybox around the black hole. Now, it is the case that it only distorts the skybox. So like if you have a black hole in front of a planet, you will see the planet behind the black hole and it will not be distorted. And maybe there's a way to do that with like render the whole scene to the texture and then do some screen space stuff. I don't know. But in any case, it's a lot better than it was, because what I had before for the black holes was just kind of pathetic. It was just a kind of a fuzzy black circle in a billboard. I mean, it was just nothing. So those are three main things that I wanted to mention that we've done lately. Oh, and I should also mention the black hole shader. That was also done with Claude. So two things, the black hole and the shadows, those things I've wanted those things for decades, but they were always just sort of very difficult. Here comes Claude just doing it. It's fucking unbelievable. Okay, that's about all I got. Bye.